He'd been a reporter at one time for the Washington Post. And then he said, I'm having trouble getting the words. And that's when we first noticed it. I think it was probably about 5 or 6 years ago. So anyway, we went to the memory care center at GW and had him tested. He was told to repeat a sentence, and he couldn't do it. He repeated the sentence, but he changed the verb. That was when he first realized that he was mishearing, and I realized he wasn't cutting me off and not listening. So I think that was a pivotal moment for us.
So I began to notice the use of his words, different things that just were off, but were not evident to other people. So I think when we finally went to the neurologist, he thought I was nuts. And he said, oh, well, people, I said, no, he's a Wharton grad, he's articulate, he's a big talker. So we sent him off for a neuropsych evaluation, and then we come back and he's like, oh, yes. So he had MCI.
When families first come to us, there's just a lot going on. I mean, that can be kind of a tough thing to face for all of us.
Back in the fall of 2017, Stephen had undiagnosed probable Lewy body dementia, and he took cold tablets, and that can set the disease process in full-blown proportions. Well, when we got the diagnosis of probable Lewy body, I knew that I needed to get as much education about this disease process as possible. I'm a retired nurse, 45 years of nursing, and I had never heard of Lewy body.
It can often feel really isolating if you've never even heard of something like Lewy body dementia before, and now your loved one has this diagnosis. You may feel like there's absolutely no one else that's going through what you're going through. We have participants in our programs and specialized support groups for care partners for individuals living with Lewy body dementia, FTD, vascular dementia, and even other more rare types of dementia. And that's something that you don't find a lot in the community, is just this understanding of these more atypical forms of dementia.
We lived in Lorton at that time, so he went to a community center, so he could still do things, independently. And they liked him going to the community center because Jeff is very social. So, they worked with me probably a lot longer than a lot of places would have because he was such a part of their community. And even they had told me, which was interesting, that they didn't think that he would be a good fit for the county daycare program. And so then I came back to Insight, and then that's when we found out more about the reconnections.
I first started with this support group, and believe me when I say that it was a godsend, truly. I knew very little about it. I knew very little about how to prepare, and the support group was not only facilitated by a professional, Lindsay, who knew an awful lot about it, but also there were seasoned caregivers there besides new caregivers. And that scenario was so helpful.
He agreed to come for the month of March. Well, it was just wonderful because I was still driving out and back, so that was 2 hours of my day, but it was just such a break. I had a time to breathe. Well, it certainly helped me by giving me time, and it certainly helped him by giving him interest. Sometimes he comes back so excited. He especially loves the men's group. He thinks that's wonderful.
The programming is absolutely excellent. It covers everything from geography to mathematics to information about different personalities, famous personalities. There's a lot of music involved. There's a lot of reminiscing that can start because of some of the topics that they select. His Insight days are days that he really looks forward to.
They're really focused on the individual. So from the very beginning, they're greeted by name, everybody knows their name, what their interests are, so.
Get to the heart of who the person is, their background, what they used to do, what they like, what they dislike, and we use all of that information as basis to create programs. And I think, having all of that information really makes our center feel more like a home.
I don't know how I could do it, honestly, without it. It's a huge peace of mind. I don't worry about him at all while he's here. I have a wait, when he comes, because I know he's happy here, and I know he's well taken care of. So it's about a 30 to 45 minute, can be more than that, drive, but it wouldn't matter if it was 2 hours. It's that good.
One of the things that was very telling for me is his ability to cope with Lewy body. Early on, we had been introduced to another gentleman who also has probable Lewy body dementia, and as they were chatting, I overheard him say that you're the first person that I've met that's like me.
And I think from the beginning, Jeff has loved it here. He loves people, he loves community.
Insight tries to help families navigate these really kind of changing landscape of what they're going through as a family, and to build that partnership within the family and build confidence in moving forward and knowing that Insight's going to be there with them every step of the way.
One of the other things that Insight offers is social work and people who are really good at helping you plan for your future. And so for us, my hope is to have Stephen stay at home with me as long as possible, as long as it's safely possible for the two of us.
My plan is until I can't physically handle him, because he can continue to go to Insight all the way through the end stages, that he'll be able to be at home. So, this gives me a lot more control over his quality of life and mine, and my peace of mind.
I really don't know what the future holds for us, and I don't think we do. But I just know that you're here, and there's somebody I can call and ask, or I can find out, or have a resource, and that's wonderful.
Insight, I couldn't be happier with all that they have gifted us with.